All right. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of FT Podcast. Pretty much, we discuss all things anime and video game discussions here. So, without further ado, hello and good evening. Hello to all the viewers out there, all five of you guys, and many more to come by. So, basically, this is a talk show regarding all anime and video games, like I mentioned before. So for those of you guys, when we'll be talking about all our topics, especially with the first topic in hand, regarding all anime or first impressions, please note that fact that like if you don't want to be spoiled, just like stay tuned to the next 30 minutes further, go to the appropriate stamp when you're watching it through YouTube. And to kick it off, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Kazo, and I pretty much watch a little bit of anime from time to time when I'm not too busy at work. But for the most part, you either see me playing Dragon Ball FighterZ or mainly Tekken 7. And to the right of my screen, you will see Ichi. He loves watching Fairy Tail and loves to kick ass in Dragon Ball FighterZ. And not only that, though, he's basically starting up his new Twitch. So say hi to the viewers for us.
Yo, what's up? In terms of Twitch, Kazo, you really need to teach me how to use OBS so then I can actually do it. That's why I'm having issues.
Oh, is that right? Oh, shoot. I mean, all of us can help you out, though, not just through me, though. We have Thicc Churro, we have Offbeat, even Bad Right. So, I mean, you pretty much got the whole family right here who got your back. So,
yo, can we just get a quick shout out to Reichi's shirt right there? Can you just give us a little
let's go. A true Dragon Ball FighterZ player at his finest, man. So to the right of him, we have Bad Rice. He's basically one big gamer. Not only that, he watches anime. So anything regarding anime recommendations, please look for him when you can. So please give it up for Bad Rice.
One big gamer.
I'd say so.
I'm huge, baby. Huge.
Lottie covered.
I'm a pro gamer.
Yeah, actually, I would generally say so, man. As you know, at some point in time when I first met you, I thought you would have at least been like sponsored when playing Smash or something. I'm just being straight.
Wait, what are you talking about? I lost in the first tournament, like against Manuel.
I never.
Everybody loves an underdog. You know.
We were cheering for you, man.
I was cheering, man.
Yeah. You know, gaming companies out there, they're always looking at players and they're always like, yo, is this guy an underdog? Is he gonna lose? We definitely want that under our roster.
Definitely.
The one who has the heart, man. That's the whole point, right? You gotta have the heart. Not just frame data, the heart. And aside from Bad Rice, though, to the next one we have Thicc Churro. He loves anime and pretty much became the jack of all trades when playing video games into itself. Not only through fighting games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, but also as of last time I seen him, he was playing Age of Empires 2 on Steam. So a man of every talent.
Wow.
Say hi to the viewers.
Yeah, see, and with a lot of talent comes a lot of responsibility. You know, I've gotten questions from people like Goichi, MK Leo, Baker.
My goodness.
They always ask me, Churro, how do you keep your competitive edge? And I always tell them, it starts with you, man. And I like to think of myself as a competitive water drinker. As you can see in my glasses.
Yo, is that filtered or unfiltered? Big
no,
question.
It's unfiltered, man.
Oh,
Wow,
wow.
We're drinking the hard stuff here.
No
You know?
handicaps.
That's hardcore.
Damn. That's the most hardest H2 I've ever seen so far this time, man. And finally, not only he is actually at this moment, guys, I want to bring it up to you guys up to speed. He is not a guest at this point. He is now part of the F tier family over here and pretty much been on for a while. And congratulations to you, the finest MTG streamer of all time, though. Please say hi to us. Offbeat Hero.
Hello, I am Oppi Hero. I guess I am now part of the permanent roster. I've been unlocked as a character. They don't have to make my
That DLC, man.
Yeah, I finally got that Oppi Hero DLC. Thanks, EA. Yes, I'm Oppi Hero. I play Magic, but I'm also here to talk about everything aside from that, because nobody else here plays Magic. It's just me, except for, I guess, Churro plays Magic sometimes.
I started getting back into it.
Look at that. You know,
Nice.
That's the way the game works. You think you're out, and then it pulls you back in.
And then, Strixhaven comes out and you're like, magic! Quite literally magic. It's a wizard school, yeah.
Magic in my magic? What the fuck?
Dang.
But yeah, so we're gonna. I'm also serving as our guide through today's 4 topics today. The first one being we are still in the early days of a new season of brand new anime. Some continuations of established franchises, some new IPs, some fun stuff going on. So we're gonna just briefly talk over, because last week we touched on a few that we saw, but a lot of the big ones were coming out that following weekend. But now's our chance. By now, most, if not all, of the big anticipated anime should be out. So we're going to find out, are there any diamonds in the rough? Are there shows they thought were going to be great but actually stink? What do you think, Kazo? Have you checked out anything new since last week?
Since last week to itself, came across not only through Kabaddi, which was pretty good. I'm not sure if I spoke on that from last time.
Really?
That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize it was already big in, especially like
In
countries.
Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
From, if you ever watch the tournament to itself, whatever they spoke of in terms of like where they explain from the anime to itself, especially when you're doing like defensive measures, you see the same thing that they do and they incorporate in the actual tournaments. And like, let's say I think the one I had prior to starting this F tier one, I just came across, it was like Pakistan versus India, and they did the exact same thing what the guys were doing in the whole like the show into itself. So I thought that was like pretty cool, just to add on to that though. And thirdly, I love the anime. It pretty much showcases even the smallest details of the sporting aspects. Because I really thought it was a made-up sport, to be honest, or it was something.
It does seem made up, doesn't
right? Like, especially like when you're playing, let's say basketball, or adding on to that, you'd be like, all right, you could have some sort of instances where it'd be like, it has a ball next to it, so hence something going on with that. Right. But Kabaddi is like, all right, shoot, I'm kind of digging this. That's one I've been catching up on. The other one, actually 2 other ones I've been just piquing my interest was Tokyo Revengers, that was on open up on Crunchyroll. That was interesting. He pretty much goes back in time. It's kind of like the butterfly effect, where he just kind of like relives his past that he wants to finish up on. But
other people are watching. Can't spoil it all.
Oh, my bad. That's why I put a spoiler alert. But again, hence spoiler alert. My bad.
Apparently here on the podcast haven't seen it.
Oh shoot. Okay. Let me go back. Okay.
Why don't you go back? About time travel.
Yeah.
But time travel. Watching it now.
Yeah.
It's fine. I also checked out Tokyo Revengers. And it is a jam-packed episode. I was getting a little bit of whiplash watching the show because it was throwing just like so much at you all at once. It was very fast.
It's so much stuff to pretty much fathom and put in your head at that point, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh wow, it was 20 minutes has gone by that quick. I'm like, excuse me? All right, that's cool, I guess.
No, same feeling. It was just like it felt like a regular anime would have taken 3 episodes to cover what they covered in 1 episode. It was
wow,
100%. Yeah,
I was like,
I agree.
That is pretty wild.
I was like, is this legal? Could they do this? Could they just throw this much content in one episode?
Would you say it was rushed, or would you say it was well done?
I would say it's well paced for what it's how much you're putting into. It's not like it's pretty much putting a lot of information that you feel like it was an overload. I would it still feel it was at a good pace for what they're trying to incorporate as story.
Yeah, so far it doesn't feel like it's like skipped anything. It does feel like it's hitting all the beats. It just does it very quickly. There's no kind of dead air, especially in the first like 10 minutes of the show where it's kind of establishing the like initial premise. It just like bashes that out like right away, and then straight into the show. It's like it's like, hey, we like set it up. It's showtime now. We're not going to wait around. We're not going to have characters staring into the camera. It's just like, here's a premise, moving on.
Yeah.
Next part. I know that
Oh,
this
shit.
episode was also, I believe it was marketed as episode 0,
Oh, wow.
which makes me believe that it's almost like a kind of prologue or like pre-episode to like the season to kind of set it up so they can like ignore the like first little bit of like trying to establish what the show's about so they can just
Right.
get into the meat of it.
That's pretty cool, actually.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
it seems pretty like promising. I'm gonna check out episode, I guess 1 when it like comes out.
Yeah.
It's the characters are fun and interesting. The premise is pretty cool. I think it's definitely might be contender for like one of the top animes for sure
Oh shit!
for the season.
For the season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Aside from Tokyo Revengers, which was pretty good, had a really good start. Another one on Crunchyroll, called 86.
Okay.
So
yes, 86.
yeah, looks not to spoil anything at this point now. It's just basically one big drone war into itself. Looks promising,
Okay.
but after the first episode, I feel like it just became Game of Thrones. So,
All right.
Okay.
I'm just
Like
putting it out.
like killing off
Game of
main
Thrones?
characters, Game of Thrones.
Killing
Or
characters
like,
off Game of
or,
Thrones.
like gratuitous sex scenes.
No, nothing like that. Okay, no gratuitous, just certain characters. You just don't want you don't want to like be too involved in to the point where you know you
anyone in particular because you really might get the axe.
you never know, man. You never know. Like even for me, I was like, oh nice, oh no. So it was pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
That's kind of nice though. An anime that isn't scared to kill its own characters. Where have we heard that before?
I mean, where have we heard that before?
That's right.
But if we're talking about contenders for the best anime,
mhm.
I gotta talk about a recommendation made by Offbeat Heroes Fiance. And
Oh,
right now, sitting at the top of my anime list this season at an 8.76 above Fruits Basket the Final, which is rated 8.74. We have To Your Eternity. Now, I took a look into this. I don't know if anyone else here has.
I have not
I have
yet.
not had a chance. No.
Let me just start by telling you, my first note is holy fuck, it is so sad. And then 4 points
And?
down, it says holy fuck, did I mention it was sad? So, holy fuck. Now,
Right.
I gotta say, it captures the human aspect really well. Narration's done by the voice actor of Overhaul, which, if you listen to his voice, it's just basically the human embodiment of Kareem, just silky smooth, you know, just
Silky
pouring
smooth
it down
Kareem,
a fucking
huh?
water slide, and you're just enjoying the show as you're watching.
Is it
The
like Morgan
animation,
Freeman?
you know what?
It's like Japanese Morgan Freeman. you know?
Japanese Morgan Freeman is a good way to put it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
Now, the
Japanese
animation's
Morgan
not
Freeman.
exactly the animation's not exactly the the most pinnacle, I would say, but the art style is really nice. The music really captures the like environment and atmosphere, and the voice acting is just really good. Like it really captures the emotion of the characters and like this kind of like spiral into those specific emotions without spoiling anything. Highly recommend taking a look, but really you have to be in the right mindset that day because it is just sad.
All right.
Damn.
all right. I mean, I enjoy a good sad anime. You know.
Right? Yeah, a good heart twister every now and then.
Yeah.
oh man.
Right, there's so many anime that are all about the action, right, and like the comedy that you hardly ever see these kind of like really sad, heartfelt stories. So I mean, when it's done well, it can really just like stand out about amongst what's currently out. So I mean, maybe that's why we're seeing it at the like top of the list. Just that it's not afraid to really just gut punch you in the heart, you know.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see what like the upcoming weeks bring, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the upcoming episodes. Maybe just get sadder from here.
I mean, I got to check episode 1 first, and then we'll see.
That's
what
true.
The upcoming episodes. I know I've been lagging behind on my episode watching, but I did check out one episode of Way of the House Husband because I found out it was on Netflix. I was like, hey, we have Netflix, so this works out. And let me tell you, I have never been more disappointed in my life. Oh my god, that show! It just like the animation is so not like I don't want to say bad because it's clearly not like intentionally terrible. They went for a certain style, a stylistic choice, and it just did not do it for me at all.
Damn.
If you haven't seen it, I mean, the best way I can describe it is like they just animated the manga. Like there's a lot of very still shots, not a lot of fluid animation. It looks like someone just like took the frames of the. I mean, I'm not sure if it's like a manga or a like web comic, but took the shots from the source material, colored them in, made their mouths move, and then just voiced it. Everything else is pretty like still frames, characters like literally sliding across the like, screen. Like it is brutal.
Ooh.
And it's.
Go on.
Sorry,
Sorry. Finish up.
It's just like. It hurt me so much because I really liked the jokes and the voice acting. I thought it was phenomenal. I just like couldn't get past this animation style. It just killed it for me like on arrival.
Ooh.
If you guys were wondering, by the way, man, what kind of fucking animation studio would mess it up? Well, let me point you towards the number one ruiner of animes in the anime industry, JC Staff, makers of One Punch Man Season 2, and many other horrible animes.
I mean,
every time that they've had their hands on an anime, it's always dropped, and, you know, usually the only ones that they actually do well are comedy animes, and for them to ruin this one, I can only, it is really sad, because apparently that's what they did with One Punch Man 2. They, when you compare when you contrast the two seasons of One Punch Man and One Punch Man 2, One Punch Man 1 had a lot of independent animators, and One Punch Man Season 2 was strictly manga, literally copy-pasted into anime.
Damn.
So, stop fucking hiring JC Staff to do anime, for the love of fucking God.
holy.
Reiji, you watched One Punch Man 2, right? Didn't you? Like, did you like that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Did you like the comparison to like the first one?
In terms of like the anime style,
Sure.
not necessarily. I mean, One Punch Man is like miles ahead, way much better. At least, like if there's anything, I'd say it's somewhat decent. It's not necessarily terribly too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the story's good, but yeah, they could have done a little bit better with the anime, with the art and everything. But
I do agree that the season 1 was superior, right? And like animation, story wise, it was fresh, it was new. But season 2 did have its moments, but they were very far and few in between in comparison to what the anime had felt like it had built up to. So
The best way I could put it is if JC Staff was in charge of One Punch Man Season 1, One Punch Man would not be popular. That's the best way I can put it. One Punch Man Season 1 brought, like, the moments that you reference in Season 2, specifically having, being far and few between, they were mainly because the story brought them alive.
Right.
The story itself was good.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
not because an animation studio did anything. Just
No,
a
for
terrible
sure.
studio should just fucking leave the business. The animators should just switch jobs and become sushi chefs or something.
I mean
Something useful for them.
Isn't that director that did what is it, Dororo 16 or something, like, still around?
I mean, he's the same guy that did like fucking Gurren Lagann episode like. It's like 5 or 6 or something.
And like those episodes are just horrendous.
Yeah, it's just a weird sore spot in an otherwise phenomenal anime in both cases. It's like, why does he have to touch these good anime with just like one terrible episode?
Some people don't mind.
I mind. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, you clearly didn't, because you gave Dororo the same score as Jujutsu Kaisen, so...
Well, yeah, because Dororo, aside from that one eyesore...
Yeah, the
great.
running fucking through the tree.
It's the running trees!
Oh my
Oh.
god, it's so good.
Hold up. Is that... Wait, Bad Rage, you're the one who showed me that, right?
Yeah, search up Dororo episode 15 running, and that's all you need to see.
Yeah, I think that's the one
I'll
you
do it
you
right
linked to me
now.
one
I
time.
gotta look at it again, man.
They
You,
just like
pause and,
they
like,
fast forward
rewound
that one, right? When it was like going through the trees and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
that. Holy shit!
Fast and the Furious, man.
Actually, just
Dude, the funniest part is that when you search it up on YouTube, the first thing that comes up is like Doro episode 15, like reaction, bad animation, just.
Would your score ever change at that point now? But when you look at that, he's changing it now.
no. My score is fine. I am willing to look past one terribly animated episode.
Nice.
For the good of the greater anime, the like story and voice acting and like everything else was still the same quality. It was just the animation, and I'm willing to let that go.
Wow. Good
So,
man.
Same reason. Like One Punch Man season 2, animation quality not quite as good as season 1, but it still had a lot of the things that made season 1 great. And as I think Bad Rice was saying, season 2 did get carried a little bit by just the source material being so good that the subpar animation wasn't as big of a detractor as it could have been. But honestly, it wasn't that bad. You know, the animation was fine. It was, and I guess that's why people hate it so much because like season 1 was so good that in comparison, season 2 looks like garbage. But it's just fine animation. There's like nothing wrong with it. It's just fine.
Yeah,
it's not outstanding. It's right. Like it's not what season 1 was, and like a lot of people, I think, especially like in the West in North America that watch anime. You know, they don't really care about what studio makes it. They just see, hey, One Punch Man's getting in season 2, right? Let's check it out.
Yeah.
So, but
Ray, what are you? Are gonna like reel us back on topic here? Any new shows you've seen since last week?
New episodes, even.
I watched Comedy again, and yeah, I think I'm gonna keep watching it. It's it's pretty good so far. So it's making a lot more sense. Like the more the episodes comes in. Shaman King, just an update on it. It's still pretty much the same as the other one. It's just a little bit better. So still nobody died. So I don't know.
I like the updates, man. Thank you.
Take it with a grain of salt. The 2 new ones I actually watched. I've been killing slimes for 300 years to max out my level.
Oh no, that's no.
Apparently, Bad Rice has some strong feelings about this show.
Go ahead, Ray.
Well, it's an isekai, right? And
It's an isekai.
in terms of it, don't really want to spoil too much, but it's about a girl who basically like killed slimes for 300 years, and then
that's the whole story.
That's the whole story, right? Isn't it?
that's it.
Yeah, it's basically like how does a person live a life that's like, you know, you're like the top of like your game, and then everybody goes and like wants to see you. You know, that's so
Okay.
that it's got some funny moments. You know, would I really watch the second episode? Not necessarily. Maybe if I just want to see something that's like lighthearted and like some funny stuff like hit here and there.
I watched
But,
one clip of that anime
Yeah.
through Crunchyroll,
Mhm.
and I've never been so disgusted with an anime before. I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
How the fuck is the voice acting off in a Japanese dub? Like, what am I watching? I watched this fucking shit. There's completely like off-putting voice acting, completely horrible comedic timing. The fight scenes, terrible. The like legit. I'm gonna spoil this because there's no real point if you're gonna watch this anime.
Wow.
Wow.
I can't. Like, this is one point she's fighting a fucking dragon, and the one secret move she does to like completely catch him off guard is she flies in front of it. Like, instead of like shooting its fire breath from far away, she flies closer and she just shoots it like point blank, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the move. That's the play. That's why I
the
will never
move,
watch. I will never watch this fucking show. I actually rated like 6 or something. Holy
Jesus.
fuck! And like from that one clip, I kind of got the tone of the entire anime to the point where I would never touch this unless Ray
Damn.
can convince me otherwise right now.
I cannot listen to that. I can't even convince myself to try and like watch a second episode.
Aw.
Like I said, unless I'm looking like for something super light and like just maybe like a little bit of like a hit of comedy here and there, maybe. But even then, like I'm like, no, why would I watch something that could be that's moderately funny? I want something that's completely funny.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
or
exactly.
like it, like yeah, I really cannot go and like, it like the story seems a little decent just because I try and like be open about it, but even then, like just watching the first episode, I'm like, well, where can you go after this? Really, like,
Right.
it's like it seems like not even like the beginning of the episode. It's like it's already there, and then you know what am I gonna do? Like live a regular life.
Right.
Right.
So can we say
Yeah.
at this point though, that, like we just like lay this anime to peace at this point? Rest,
Yeah,
make...
we'll throw it in the back with the other isekais we've like completely ignored. But like
Yeah.
instead of just throwing in the back, we'll also just like look back and be like, it doesn't look right. We'll like kind of move all the isekais to the front, put it in the very far back, and then push the pile on top of it and be like,
yeah.
this is
Just put it. Just put it right
You know?
next to Sword Art Online. Right
Oh.
there in garbage
We're
can.
we're gonna put Sword Art Online above it. That's how bad it is.
Oh.
We're gonna like
Yeah.
specific position the text of Sword Art Online above it, so you can't make out what's below it.
But-
the last one I watched is Full Dive. This ultimate next gen
Full
Full
Dive.
Dive RPG is even
Oh.
shittier than real life.
Okay.
Huh.
So
Full dive. Okay.
in terms of it, story, like, make it short, like it's about the guy who really just wants to play video games, and they have full dive technology, and he tries to buy a video game, and this girl sells him this RPG that he didn't want, and then next thing you know, he's like playing this RPG. Apparently, from like in terms of that show, like it's the best RPG ever made, but they said they made it too realistic. And
He bought a game because he
One
was simping on her.
one of
What
the great things
fuck?
I
I
can say
actually
about
died?
it is that there is killing in the first episode,
Oh damn!
and it
okay.
was very intense.
Okay.
In terms of what happens after, it's
So
I don't really know if I'd even continue watching the third episode. Like I watched
Wow.
2 episodes of it, and it didn't really
I got
rise
a
up
bold
too much.
prediction. Ray's gonna stomp on the game show of light novels later because he picks animes like this.
Oh.
We're
He
doomed.
Alright.
He won last.
He
He won the
knows what's
anime
real
game.
and what's fake,
It's
dude.
over.
Well, I pick
Yeah,
animes in random and try to like see if I can make something out of it, but
He's optimistic.
unfortunately this time it
That's
didn't
fair.
work.
You know what? That's good. You are swayed by popular opinion. That lets you find gems.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Like
So,
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, if you and you know what, Ray, if you want a good lighthearted isekai that gets so much better in season 2, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. If
Yeah.
you haven't seen that already,
I've seen it.
still
So-
touting that season 2 of Slime.
oh god, it's so good, so good.
Little
Yeah,
rough.
so that's basically all I've watched.
Yeah.
Fair.
Cool.
What
Thank you
else
for
we
sharing.
got? Any prospects? Has anyone checked out the new Megalobox? It's actually gotten a pretty good rating since last we talked about it.
I have not. I have seen season 1, so I am getting Kate, my fiance, to watch season 1 with me again because she has not seen it, and then I will check out season 2 because I really enjoyed Megalobox season 1. If you haven't seen it, it's a very fun, cool anime. It reminds me a lot of like Samurai Champloo with its like kind
Style.
of with both the like art style and creative soundtrack.
Mm.
And the premise at first is ridiculous, which is just makes it more fun. It's like, hey, in regular boxing, we weren't quite punching each other hard enough. So what if we made our arms into mechs and then punched even harder?
Like the exoskeleton type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is completely stupid, but super fun. But all the characters are pretty fleshed out. It takes a couple turns that you don't expect. Show's super funny. If you haven't seen it,
The story's pretty refined, I would say. Like it was
Yeah,
refined until what happened, but we're not gonna say. But it was a very well done story, and you'll enjoy the first 12 episodes for sure.
Really, I liked how it ended actually.
Oh,
I'm with you there too, actually, because like at least it was kind of like showcase a little bit of sort of mystery that like if anything, what happened to those characters.
It does have a bit of an open-ended story. So if you don't like that kind of style, if you like your stories have like a clean, definite ending, then maybe you won't like it. But I thought it was fine with its kind of more open-ended, like, hey, like this story is over, but I mean, these character stories aren't necessarily over. This is just one like small chapter in their life.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping season 2 is doing well, because I would hate to like see season 1 kind of get dragged down into an inferior season 2.
like a Promised Neverland, Lamau.
Oh, don't even. Actually, can we talk about that show for like a hot minute?
You know what? Get it out while you can. Just go ahead.
My God, that was such a fucking good. It was so bad.
Oh wait, you haven't seen it yet, have you?
I still haven't seen season 2, but honest to God, I don't know if I want to put myself through that.
It's terrible, dude. It's terrible. It's actually
You give me it too.
Terrible.
Okay, that's a lot of hate for that, but I mean, it's not totally bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like me and Nicole love. I mean, not sorry, love is that's a strong word. My bad. We accept it for what it is, but
I don't know. I'm sticking by.
It's like if you want to condense all of, let's say, like the best way I could describe it to you, Thicc Churro, is like if you can pretty much, if I were to give you the whole rule book and make you like give you everything of Dragon Ball FighterZ into 1 hour and condense it, that's basically the concept of like what Dragon Ball or what season 2 is.
But that's
a lot of things.
I think I'm 4 episodes in.
Yeah, so I mean that analogy works if Kazo skipped like how to block and how to jump.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. Thank you. Much appreciated.
I personally never like it when an anime, like, don't get me wrong, I like it when an anime takes liberties to separate itself from the manga, right? But like when the actual plot is irrelevant, that's when I have an issue, and so that's why I'm on episode 4 right now of season 2, and I'm just like, should I continue? Should I not continue? Should I read the manga? Like Kate is saying on the chat.
Yeah,
I think you should.
I don't know.
I think you should.
It's just when anime studios usually take the wheel on animes and just go off the manga, it hasn't ended well for the majority of things.
It's okay. Has any? I know it's not anime, so don't crucify me here. But has anyone here watched Game of Thrones? Right.
Sure,
Yes. I have.
That's why I mentioned it.
Game of Thrones?
I did not.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, the Promised Neverland season 2 feels like the last season of Game of Thrones. Did
it go off the books?
The first 3 episodes could be good, and then it just tanks afterwards.
Technically, it doesn't go off the book. It just leaves out a lot of the book. It just skips over a lot of stuff. We looked up afterwards. We're like, what happened?
It's like you missed out.
And it's like they rushed this arc, they skipped this arc, they rushed this arc, they skipped these 2 other arcs, then they rushed an arc, and then they rushed the ending.
And you gotta wonder, with shows that big, is who makes those kinds of decisions?
Yeah.
When a show is kind of raking in the money, you typically want to extend its life, right? As we've seen with, in the past with films, like they usually want to extend movies and just find ways to get different arcs in there. Like the biggest example, in that same category would be the Lord of the Rings, right? Like they made 3 books in 3 movies, and they didn't expect it to be so big, and so they made The Hobbit 1 book into 3 movies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's sometimes there's decisions that are made by the studios that we viewers just can't understand.
You know what?
Yeah, I guess so.
You can't really do much when the same studio that worked on Promised Neverland 2 was also the people who made Darling in the Franxx.
I've never seen that.
Darling in the Franxx. See, guys, don't watch it.
The Persona 5 animation as well.
Okay.
Animation was fine. It was supposed to be bad.
No, the animation was fine, but
I
actually
want to ask you though. It's like, is Darling in the Franxx actually a good anime? Because like I've seen it on TikTok. Like that same character who's just been on like on every view. I don't know. I guess every person's like PC wallpaper. Is it that?
Darling in the Franxx is a Trigger Studio anime. Trigger also made like Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill.
Oh, nice. Kill la Kill.
So they had some gems in there.
They had some gems in there,
Right.
They also made that like witch school one that I can't remember. But
Little Witch Academia. It was very mediocre.
It was pretty mediocre. So they've had some bombs. They've had some flops. Darling in the Franxx, I was very into it because Trigger, like they've got a formula. Okay, when you watch a Trigger anime, you know what to expect. Like once you've seen one, you've kind of seen them all, honestly. But they traditionally follow the same formula where they have 2 half seasons. They have like season 1, which is like 12 or 13 episodes or so. Then they have the second half, and there's a like distinct divide. Usually, there's some sort of time skip or like big event that happens that like breaks it up. The first half season of Darling in the Franxx, I was on board. I was like, hell yeah, this shit is cool. They're setting up all these like mysteries, and they've got some cool villains, and so know quite enough about this weird world they're in. And then they just like shit the bed with the like second half season. The last like 4 or 5 episodes are truly horrendous and just terrible all around. They're like comically bad.
Damn, that's unfortunate.
Just go from like up here to like down here, just like.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a fun show, but just know that after that point, the quality of the story drops off. Definitely felt like that they were driving a car, and you thought that they knew where they were going, and no, they knew how to get like halfway through it, and their GPS died. And they tried to make it up, but you ended up driving like off a cliff.
Oh, Doyle rules.
Yeah, they just like tried to trick you, be like, I know where I'm going. Meanwhile, you're like colliding towards a cliff. You're like, are you sure you know where you're going, guys? They're like, yeah, dude, I told you where I'm going. Then flies off. So I mean, I was pretty choked. I was like, wow, this was super fun, super cool show, but fuck, did they fuck it up?
Oof.
I would feel like I'd be doing my man out there Reggie a disservice if I didn't mention in our current animes of like first impressions, bring up once again My Hero Academia season 5. I know the first episode was kind of a filler episode, but the second episode, I don't know, man. I like where it's going. Like I'm like enjoying.
We talked about this last week. We're on episode 3
Did you guys?
now.
Are we on episode 3?
Reggie and I talked about episode 2.
Oh no!
Last week.
Oh my god!
This week we're on episode 3.
All right.
If anyone here is
episode 2. I didn't catch episode.
Wait.
3, so I mean,
When does that come out? When does the episode come out?
Like last Sunday or something. What?
Like last Sunday?
AnimeSchedule.com. That's a real site, by the way.
That's a real site. Google it. AnimeSchedule.com.
My Hero comes out on Saturday, so literally tomorrow will be episode 4.
Okay, so yes, I have watched episode 3 then.
Okay.
With the voice stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, has anyone here not seen episode 3? I think Offbeat didn't.
I mean, I haven't, but I haven't. Go ahead and talk about it.
I watch it, yeah.
No, not to spoil anything, right? But I'm just gonna say I like the direction that it's going. I like the things that they're doing, right? And it's good. I don't know. I like it. Maybe I have bad taste. I don't fucking know, right?
I think you're not far off. It was definitely a good return.
Like
For Boku no Hero?
like it did put me off. Not gonna lie, that the first episode was a bit of a recap.
Second
But-
episode was hit or miss
whatever.
depending on the person.
Yeah, second episode, I liked it, but the third episode, it did kind of like finally showed some direction to what path, like what arc they were following, and I like where it's going. I really do. It's got it seems like they're taking it a bit of a different way than they did before. So we'll see what happens.
Nice.
And I always love an anime that's like that has progression. It's always like, oh, we're in the last year of high school, and by the end of this year, that's it.
Right.
It is, you never see the second year, and you never see the first year.
Right.
So it's, I don't know. I like progression, and we'll see where it's going.
It's like you're
Hopefully
growing-
they make it to the second year. Yeah, exactly. Like you're growing with them.
Kind of like when you're watching Naruto as a kid, and then when he grows up, you're like, man, I feel like I've been through like the whole Ninja Academy too.
Yeah, right. Exactly like that.
But yeah, that's I think it was a decent episode. There are some things I don't like about it, but to each their own. Mainly, my only gripe comes from the characters. Some characters are just really like unneeded. We could just cut them out of the story, and we'd be better off. And no one would miss them. No one literally goes out and says, "Hey, Minetta's my favorite character." And
Actually,
I know,
Reggie's
I know.
favorite character, unironically, is Mineta.
Is he watching
What
right now?
What about that stupid fucking kid from Class B, the one that fucking needs to always like act like a villain?
He is one of Reggie's favorite characters.
Oh
And
my
honestly,
god!
like he's funny, dude. Like he just shitposts on Class A. Like the man just every chance he gets, he lords over his superiority on Class A.
Dude is actually funny. Tintin. He's funny. Kay.
Yeah,
That guy's a funny character.
is sick. That's a good character.
That's a good character, man. Holy. Even in the filler episode when he was like constantly drowning, I was like laughing at this stupid gag. I'm like, it's his dumb face, I think that really
It's his
sells
dumb
the
face.
show.
His dumb face.
His
No, it's the
stupid,
fact that his dumb face is
Tintin-ass
attached.
face.
His fucking dumb face is attached to the most muscular body you've ever seen.
It is. Here's
Like-
what I will say about the annoying characters, though. If a character is meant to annoy you, and it does annoy you, it's a well-written character.
I guess, but I don't have to like him.
You don't have to like them. No,
Yeah.
of course not. But it's season 5. It's actually I don't know. I'm liking where it's going, and one other thing that I want to say, also switching gears here about burning Kabaddi, is that I love the fact that like you don't have to know anything about the sport. It's literally like nobody in the fucking show knows anything about the sport except for the people that already play it, which is not the main character. The main character is also learning with you. So, hey, burning Kabaddi. So maybe it's the next big sports anime.
I'll have to check out a second episode because it seems like everybody else is enjoying it. The first one really didn't sell me, but maybe there's something there that just like didn't get me for. So I'll check out episode 2 for you guys, but no promises on burning Kabaddi.
Look for the
Is there
update next week.
any other animes people have been watching, or is that about it? Because if not, the two prospects besides Megalobox that I want to talk about is I shaved my beard and I took in a high school girl. Apparently has a 7.91. Pretty impressive for a anime of a weird, kind of theme to it. And Vivi, Fluoride's Eye Song. It's actually an action sci-fi music thriller, which, whatever that means, gets it at an 8.2. It's now the second highest rated original on for the season. So, animes you can check out, animes you can take a look at.
Okay.
So that concludes us for anime, right?
Yeah, I will add a disclaimer that I feel like the 7 out of 10 average on my anime list is a like hard 5 in the real world. You know what I mean?
What?
But everybody be mindful that my anime list gave Sword Art Online Season 1 a good review. In reality, it's the most trash anime I've ever seen in my life.
Oh man, you have not seen some trash animes.
Yeah, I just think that some of the rate, or I think that the average rating on my anime list is a little bit inflated to
True. Fire
to
Force had
reflect-
like a 7.8 or something.
right. That show is probably like an easy like 5 or 6. You know.
Yeah. But like, you know, to each their own. The ratings do have somewhat of an impact because, you know,
Yeah.
if I hadn't seen To Your Eternity being rated like an 8.7, because usually animes, even really good animes, don't ever really get rated up to like 8.5. You know,
Yeah.
there's a threshold. You know, once it crosses that threshold, that anime is good and you should check it out.
I mean, Beastars was one of
Beastars,
the
yeah.
diamonds in the rough we didn't check out until it was rated well.
Yep. So yeah, there's definitely an application, an implication, or a purpose for the scoring system, but everything below 8.5 is generally just a hit or miss.
Yeah.
And
Like,
Yeah.
like I mean, the average score of Jujutsu Kaisen was like 8.79, but I think we all rated it higher than that. And it's like, what was Wonder Egg?
It's technically still not finished.
Wonder Egg was
Wonder Egg got, like, an
rated
8.
8.18.
And like, here's the thing about Wonder Egg. It's like, for me right now, I'd rate it a lot lower than I would that I will probably in June.
That's
You know,
fair.
because I feel like a lot like shows like these really don't necessarily rely, but a lot of the meat and potatoes are you know, in the ending. Like how this anime leaves you, like the aftertaste of the anime really is what I'm trying to go for here.
Right on.
And animes like Jujutsu, like I showed everyone a few reviews after the last Jujutsu Kaisen stream, and I showed you some of the reviews where people were complaining that it essentially didn't have fan service, and that's why they rated it low. And Wonder Egg Priority, I was reading some of the reviews. It's a lot. Some people were upset that it was pushing LGBT support, and they rated it low for that reason. So sometimes the score can't be reflective of how good an anime could be.
Yeah, you have to take like a grain of salt. I would say any score on my anime list is like in a plus or minus like 2 points.
I will say this. Yeah, it's true. I will say this about Wonder Emperor. Just one last thought now that I heard Bad Rice comment here. Just a closing thought. I think Wonder Egg should be like the frame of reference to how to do, you know, LGBT characters. Like just make good characters and then think about that stuff after the fact. You know, you know, like it's a good character that just so happens to be lesbian, that just, you know, this and that. Like, I think Wonder Egg Priority tackled everything really, really well, and I'm really looking forward to the ending. Like I said, like these kinds of shows really ride on the ending and the aftertaste of the show. So, kind of sucks that we have to wait until June, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Wonder Egg definitely did it super well. I can't even like express how well done the, you know, applications of the subjects matter that they wanted to tackle came about. They really did like level everything perfectly, and it is unbelievable how good that anime is.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely tiring when you see shows where like being gay is their character. Like that's what their character is. Like they are gay. That is their character, and usually that's all they are.
And it doesn't attack like, you know, the actual like issues that come about with, you know, being LGBT.
I mean, it's not entertaining to watch. It doesn't make them a deep, interesting character. It's just like, okay, they're just like a like token gay character that you can check off their list. Be like, see, look, we're so inclusive. Look at our gay character. It's like, dude, we get it. Like,
yeah, none. Wonder Egg Priority, fantastically done.
Yeah. Similar thing, we already touched it back a few episodes ago about how like Jujutsu Kaisen had like a lot of good female characters. it's because of characters like being a strong female isn't their character. You know, that's not what they are. Right? It's not like, oh, here's our strong female character. They are just strong characters who happen to be females. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I think the fault that especially the West has, right? But like with things like film and shows, it's not the fact that it's the fact that they're trying too hard to portray like strong female characters to the point where like they make everybody else weak around them, and at that point it's just not entertaining to watch, right? But yeah, like Jujutsu Kaisen, for example, you have wonderful female characters that, you know, contest with the best.
Mm-hmm.
They're right up there. They all have very unique set of abilities, and you know, that make them strong individually, and they just so happen to be women. Like that's how we should be thinking of our characters. And I'm really hopeful that going forward, this is how, you know, how the anime is pan out. I just think it's really funny that talking about the new season, we just keep going back to the old season.
Going back
because it was so good.
It
was so good, and now we're kind of getting not a lot from the look of it.
I mean, we all liked reminisce on the good old days. I mean, they're not even that old days, really. I mean, it was like a couple of weeks ago where we were watching last season's anime. But we're gonna move on to our next topic here, where we get to reminisce with the good old days of playing our favorite video games. We're gonna move on from anime, get this Japanese shit out of my face. We're gonna look back, take a minute, and just touch on what made gaming fun when we were young. You know, what were those moments that really clicked for you? What really stood out for you? What was a like the final one, thinking like, man, like you know, there's if you've seen Inside Out, like what makes this a core memory? You know? So let's go to Ray. What do you got when you think back fondly on your youth, playing SNES or GameCube or PS2, whatever your flavor was? What jumps out at you?
Now, is it in terms of like a memory while we're playing in a video game, or like?
No,
like just...
I mean, it's pretty broad. I mean, just any kind of gaming related thing. It could be like maybe you met your best friend through a game, or you just played a game that had a really cool story to it, kind of like touched you in a way that you didn't think that you could feel playing a fucking GameCube game, right?
Oh, okay. Well, one of my most interesting video game memory for me was actually a weekend at Kazu's house.
Nice.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah,
right.
we were playing
PS3
PS3. We were playing Street Fighter.
You're gonna call me out like that? You're gonna call me out like that?
Oh yeah, heck yes.
All right. Yeah, PS3.
Well, mine is this one, anyways.
Okay.
So we're playing Super Street Fighter 4 at Kazu's house, and for me, like Street Fighter 4 was the first time I actually wanted to learn how to play Street Fighter. Like
Nice.
I grew up playing King of Fighters and stuff, but yeah, like as soon as Street Fighter 4 came out, and I met Kazu, like we've been like he's been pushing me to like play fighting games like in a more competitive style of way, and Super Street Fighter 4 was like the start for actually getting into all of that. So we actually had a whole bunch of people over at his place, and so one of our friends, Elir, he knew Kazu for a long ass time, and he goes up to me and he goes and says, "Hey Ray, I bet you I can go and play and beat you with only using one hand."
Oh.
And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay. I'm like, sure, why not, right? So I started playing, and don't for like this is me playing for, and I'm like using a controller. I've never actually like, and I was not really very good at it. But I'm like, okay, well, like I want to at least try, right? Like if he's gonna play with one hand, I'm thinking maybe I could go beat him. So next thing you know, I'm like trying really hard, and he's just holding his controller with one hand, like pressing buttons, but he's like doing like perfect combos and everything. I'm like, how is he doing that with a joystick and like pressing buttons all in one hand? And then after this, like this guy just goes there and say, "Hey, look, I'm beating you with like my hand over my eyes. And I don't even know what you're doing." And I'm like, I'm getting my ass kicked. I'm like, holy crap, am I really just this bad at like playing fighting games? Next thing you know, like as soon as I got my ass beat, he's like, hey, he goes up to me and he's like, "Hey Ray, guess what? Like, you just got your ass beat so bad." And I was like so salty and pissed off. Next thing you know, I go look at the back. Kazo just appears right through the door holding like a controller. I'm like, why is he holding a controller? He's like, and then he goes and like stares at me. He's like, "It was all me."
From outside, you're peeking through the window. You're like, "Oh my god! Wow, you got totally punked."
Absolutely punked.
Yeah, it was like I ended up like just laughing about it. I'm like, I could not believe like you guys just joked me, and
That's super
yeah, it was.
fun.
Actually,
man.
to cap it off, like Ray was actually the first one me and Ilir did. We did to a couple friends afterwards. Like
yeah.
it worked later on, and then we did to one guy and that I just met through Ray Ichi, and then turns out he actually knew how to play. And then at that time, I'm like,
So
he actually beat me, and then it didn't look good. That's why I looked up to Ilir. I'm like, yo, not this guy.
Yeah.
Nope.
Cut the tape.
Got the tape, yeah.
We out. Holy. That's a fun story, actually. You know?
That is a pretty fun story.
Got a little bit of first learning how to play a brand new game and getting pranked by your best bros. I mean, that I've never seen that before. I've pulled the classic thing where like your friend has like a little brother or like a little sister and they don't really know how to play, so you don't really want them playing with you. So you just like put their controller wire like up to the port, but not all the way in, just like a little bit. I'd be like, "Yeah, that's you." Or just like pretend that they're playing. Oh man, I don't see that.
Well, Derek did punk me not too long ago.
Oh,
maybe
what?
2 years ago. So I didn't know the Switch then. So he would come over and play Smash with me, you know, when Smash just first came out. And he would always like because you didn't have a Pro controller, right? You had the little joysticks. Yeah, he would always like punch forward every time he hit play, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
"Is that how you do it?" Is that because like I was thinking Wii, right, with like the motion controls. So I was like, literally. When I got my Switch, I was like fucking punching forward, trying to start Smash, and it didn't work. And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, we had character select, right? We both pick our fighters, and then, when you press smart or press like start to like smash, it little like pa. It looks like I was punching the screen. That wasn't a like intentional bait. I was just like goofing around. but I guess Churro just like thought that it was like motion control.
I really did, yeah. I was like, I don't know the Switch.
This is a new way of playing.
Oh my god! I can't imagine how long you tried. You're like, why is it working? Like, why can't I do it?
It took me a good like 5 minutes of like just like, and then looking at my controller like it was broken or something, and then figuring out that it literally said press A to start.
Honestly,
Damn.
a huge miss by like Nintendo. They should have put that in.
Right.
So
That's
sick.
right.
Like, come on,
For you see, for
so
tournaments,
really-
everyone had to punch do the same motion.
If anything, this is Sakurai's fault for not doing the cool shit by himself. All right, come on. Add it in future patch. Add punching to fucking start the game.
Exactly.
Kazo, apparently you and Ray share a history of fighting games together. Do you have any fond memories to look back on in your gaming youth?
Actually, I wrote a bunch. I did some like looking back at it, and I'm like, you know what? I had a lot of memories, and most of them entails are for fighting games wise, right?
Okay.
But to pretty much with me and Ray, like we go way back, like through and not only like it started through like seeing each other in parties and stuff, but then we connect through fighting games through through each other's sense. However, there's one sort of instance like when for some reason all the good stuff happens at my house one time, right? And we were just coming from a party, and then we were gaming up like King of Fighters up until like God knows how long, like 3 a.m. in the morning. And I started passing out while gaming up against. It was like King of Fighters 99, if I recall. Was it, Ray? No?
Right.
Yeah.
So we were just gaming up, me and him, and I don't know what happened, but I blacked out in the middle of like the setup. So at that point, like even Ray can attest for this, that like we were just gaming up, and I don't know how is it, because for me, I don't know what's going on, but he was the one telling me the story like afterwards, after the set. Turns out I bodied him while I was still sleeping. Like I passed out mid-set and just bodied him with my eyes closed, and literally my brain, like my whole body shut down, but my whole mind and like fingers are still working on the controller, and still managed to beat him for that. And he woke me up. He's like, "Yo, dude, you're bodying me while you're asleep." And then that's the time I woke up. I heard him sleep, and I'm like, "What? No, what? What are you talking about?"
The raw muscle
In terms of
memory.
how that story went.
I don't know. Like, yeah, what is your side? Because like that's coming from me. I'm the one who's passed out.
In my defense in this story, I was like, okay, I go and stare at him. I noticed he was sleeping. So I was
Right.
like, okay, this is a good chance for me to try and beat
This is
his
my
ass.
chance. Get some sweet, sweet revenge.
I tried. Next thing you know, like this guy is just pulling off combos after combos while sleeping. I'm like, how is he doing this?
It's the muscle
Like,
memory.
this is how much
The
Hazel
dude
plays
literally
video games.
eats,
That he
breathes,
thinks about
and
him in his
sleeps
sleep.
Street Fighter.
I mean, it's so straight though. There's one time like I don't know if you guys had this, like even for me when during the peak of like Dragon Ball Fighters, of like going through the combos and combos and combos, I wake up one time and then I just started texting Ray. I'm like, "Yo, I just woke up and found a new combo set. Like this is a new combo route. I just thought of my dream. I want to bring this to your attention."
Gerard doesn't just play video games. He sleeps. You know, like when in the old tribes, the oracles had a dream, and it's like, the gods have shown me the path. That's Gerard with fighting. He's the oracle.
There's that, but I was
God
like,
showed me the combo.
I was thinking like like the Matrix, when like Neo wakes up and then he's like, "I know kung
I
fu."
know food.
Morpheus comes and is like, "Yo, I got you, man. Show me." That's basically that was that. But to add on towards all the other memories, I got two other ones, and I guess that's because I've written like a full piece. I was like, because I've been doing a lot of thinking of all the past. First one starts with a shooter. Out of all things that I play, Call of Duty Black Ops, Nazi Zombies to be exact.
Nice.
Derice, Xbox 360 days.
Oh, yeah.
So me and another buddy, we pretty much been just staple of just playing a lot of Night Zombies, see how far we go. But for some reason, at that one point I was like, yo, I need to pass out. I'm about to we're already at level 60 of like this horde, and this is going nowhere. We have a good team setup. We're all again, we're all at the catwalk. Anything can happen towards us. So lo and behold, when you're the host, right? You can't quit, because if you quit, the whole game quits with you.
Yeah.
So I took the sacrifice to my squad that I'm gonna pass out at any time soon. Don't mind me. So I'm gonna leave it on. I just literally muted myself and just passed out like that, just like so, right? And I don't know what happened then, but apparently they lost an hour later on, right? But the thing is, though, the interesting thing about this is that not only the fact that my squad, we happen to make it as much as we can, even though I was already incapacitated. They get the funny thing is that I thought I muted myself, but they told me I was snoring during the whole set. And then even when they
Do it
all
for
quit, after they all quit and everything else, though, I woke up to a new squad, and we were at round 8. And to kick it off, they were all talking to me in Hispanic. They're all like Spanish, right? So here I am, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yo, this is not the same squad I'm talking to, but I just roll with it for a while, and I'm like, yo, imagine that though, just waking up to a new squad, even to me
Yeah.
after you just passed out. But yeah,
Nice.
there's that.
I can't help but see a theme here where all of your stories involve you falling asleep.
And
Shoot.
still body people.
How is
Yeah.
your favorite memories if you don't remember them, Gerard? Come on.
Oh no!
I'm
My
calling
keep favorite memories. I was asleep during both, but I was told it was great.
Yeah, like, yo, it was great. You know, favorite memories. You know, when I think memories, I think about sleeping.
Yo, man. I think like if I was to do another stream and then like doing a full tournament, I should just pass out.
Yeah.
Let it ride. See what my
Yeah,
Add
exactly.
another memory to the collection.
right. But the last memory I want to share though for you guys though is one that I did not sleep at this point. Though, so
Oh.
unfortunately, I'm sorry
All
for
right,
you
he was
guys though.
awake this time. All right, guys, give it this one. It's gonna be extra intense.
So
He's gonna body 2 people.
no. It's the fact that just like what you mentioned about though offbeat when especially meeting new people through whether it means through online stuff. Majority of the people I've met as of yet has been through Street Fighter 4. I'll be strictly honest. Like meeting up with Billions, the president of the anime club before of Sate. I met him through that. I even just messaged him up on email. I'm like, yo, I heard you play fighting games. Like you play Street Fighter 4 and then go from there. I met through Penn Tuzler, James, who works at EB Games, and he had remember that back in the day when they had kiosks of like all the games that people can just test out. One of them was
Yeah.
Street Fighter, and the first thing I said was like, yo, like you're not doing anything. Let's go get some sets in. I called him out, and then immediately after we gamed up, we pretty much I told him about like, hey, yo, Canada Cup is coming just around the corner. Which Canada, if you guys don't know, Canada Cup is like one big tournament to itself. Yep, thank you, Jarza Clark, for mentioning that too. I mentioned that. I was just gonna mention that to you, man. But basically, I was telling him about for Canada Cup, where it's like one big video game tournament strictly for like fighting games into itself. You have the big pros coming from Japan, from like US, anywhere else around the world trying to compete at that time in Calgary. I remember when I was still doing my videography course in between and just pretty much majoring into that. I literally had to like skip one of my classes so I can compete, right? And brought in James and all that stuff all together. And then again, back to Canada Cup, where I met Mr. BLT, aka Brandon. So a lot of things went through Canada, obviously through Canada Cup, but Street Fighter as a whole. So fighting games pretty much bring out a lot of things and a lot of things out of people. So that's the thing I want to reiterate. It's like you never know when you meet a new true hero on the side until they start picking up a fight stick or picking up Ryu. Who knows?
Nice.
Yeah, is there?
That is nice.
And how about you guys?
Churro. What do you got for us here?
Man.
Give us some old tales from Mexico.
The year was 2004.
Ooh.
Mexico. For real though, when I was a kid, I didn't own a console. Actually, like not a lot of kids didn't own consoles, right, in Mexico. So arcade machines were a big thing, and I was kind of ass at Street Fighter 2002 in my block. I was kind of like a bit of a punching bag. I'm not gonna lie, but my mom started playing basketball on like the other side of the city.
Oh wow!
So every time she went like practice or to a game, I go with her. And in that court, there was a convenience store with an arcade machine outside of it. So I was like, "Fuck it, kill some time." She's playing basketball. I'm gonna go here do my own thing. And I was still ass, but they started teaching me how to play the game. And I learned, and like fast forward a month or two after the fact, I come back to my block and I start bodying everyone, and it was the best feeling.
Oh, man.
It was the best, and since then I've always just loved to body my friends in video games. And it's just, I don't know, it's just something like sparked that day, that when I was really in the zone and just kicking ass back at my blog and just seeing that progress, that it stuck with me, and it stuck with me to just like that competitiveness. It was like a moment of magic at that point.
Something dark and deep inside of you awoke that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Beating randoms is fun and all, but beating
your friends. Oh, and seeing their faces. Oh, lovely.
Salty.
But that's one of them. Like I said, I didn't really own a console up until I came to Canada. But when I was a really fun memory that I do have with gaming is that when I was 12, 13, right, in middle school, I just came to Canada, and my dad bought me a laptop, actually.
Nice.
For homework. But I didn't have any friends, right? I couldn't speak the fucking language. And one kid came up to me and was like, "Have you ever heard of RuneScape?" I was like, "Dude, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about," right? But I tried it out. He gave me his username, and we used Skype so he could guide me, because I had no idea how to set anything up.
Yeah.
And he ended up becoming a friend of mine that just introduced me to other people and started teaching me the language. He spoke a bit of Spanish. He was born here, but the parents were Spanish, so he could understand a little bit and kind of talk with me. But I mean, hey, RuneScape kind of gave me a social life here in Canada.
Nice.
So,
That's
so
sick.
nice. That's
Yo,
so
I
nice.
like that story, man.
That's a cute story.
that's a cute story.
Aw.
I love the
Megan.
transition between fond memory, bodying people I know. Also fun memory, having friends. Oh,
Right.
so great.
Last memory. I
Yeah.
promise.
Go for it.
I worked all summer, helping one of my dad's friends. I wasn't doing much realistically, right? But I worked all summer and saved up $300 for
Ooh.
my first console, the Xbox 360, and it came
Nice.
with this game I've never heard before called Assassin's Creed 2.
Ooh.
And
Second
let me tell you, the second one, yeah. And then on top of that, because I bought my own console, my mom was gracious enough to buy me Assassin's Creed 3
Ooh.
Brotherhood, not 3, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And then I play those games, and the story building, oh god, the story building in those games was fucking fantastic, and I just fell in love with the elements of the story. And Assassin's Creed really did ignited the spark in me to be creative, to focus on story, to focus on good characters, what makes a good supporting character, what makes a good tragedy, and all that. I mean, I love Assassin's Creed, and if you haven't had the chance to play Black Flag, well, that is just, in my opinion, I mean, quite literally the best video game.
Flash in the ink.
Yeah, just flashing the ink here real quick.
Was it? Yeah,
It's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
I love the game. Absolutely recommended. That game really took me back and let me appreciate all of the people that work on those kinds of games. The story creators, the art creators, the scenery, the level building, everything. Just really made me. It made me appreciate what goes into the art that is game building.
Humble beginnings, man. I like it.
You know, we went from bodying people to, and now we're back at bodying people in Dragon Ball Fighters.
Woo! Let's go.
We never left.
We never left. It was always there.
Nice. Now, I think Bad Rice has been waiting patiently, charging up his
Nice.
Stories of the past. Give us what you got. Give us something that's really gonna tug at our heartstrings here of the good old nostalgia days.
I got no heartstrings getting tugged around my stories here. It's just some basic ass, funny ass memories that I had my time, and ironically, they all involve you to some degree because you always get stuck in these funny situations.
I can't help but just fucking shit up, you know.
So let me tell you about the Windscour adventures of RuneScape. Now, there's a region in Arcade. Now, Arcade, big MMORPG game. You can do a lot of stuff. It was probably my favorite MMO of all time. After playing playing WoW Classic, playing fucking RuneScape, playing everything, like this is my favorite MMO. And the reason was because you could fight and kill the players. Now you couldn't steal their item, but you could definitely just kill them, and because you never really had the gain from killing someone, and you actually had something to lose because they could report you for committing a crime against fellow people. You actually had something to lose. It was really personal when you fought and killed people, but people did it anyway because it was just all about the BM. Now, the Windscour Adventures. I still remember the time I was sitting, on my computer. I was farming some stuff, and I just get a message from Offbeat Hero here, and his name was actually Offbeat Hero at the time, surprisingly.
Oh,
There we go.
nice.
And he just messaged me. He's like, there are a lot of people fighting here. I'm like, oh yeah, 10 people fighting. He's like, no, there's 50 to 100 people here. My computer is lagging. I can't do my farming.
Can't render all the guys.
I gotta fix this. And so he actually goes, and there's 100 fucking monkeys just going at it, killing each other. These guys are just BMing each other, just talking shit. It's complete chaos. And then Offbeat Hero comes in the middle, and he's like, oh, I know that guy. Hey, why don't I mediate so I can get this shit over with so there's less bloodstains on my fucking farm?
Oh
And
my
so,
god.
Next thing we know, he fixes it, and later on, our faction, which had been getting bullied by the other faction because we were a lot weaker, since there's two continents, and it's like Alliance versus Horde. We were getting destroyed. They decided to come together. And what do they know? They're like, hey, that guy who fixed the whole Windscour battle between these really hard to control guilds, because we pretty much lived in the ghetto of Arcade.
It was the ghetto of the world, dude.
It was. If you lived there, it was kind of sad. But we pretty much were like, okay, we'll get invited, and next thing you know, we in a guild or in a pretty much a server of around couple thousand people. We're up there with guild leaders who had 500 people in their guilds. At a moment's notice, they could press a button and 500 people would just show up at an area to kill people, and it was madness. And so we were just sitting there, and it was just the five of us, and we were arguing with these top guild leaders about what's right and how we want to control the nation. Politics got involved. We became famous on the server. It'd be oh, yo, check it out. It's Offbeat Hero and Bad Rice and Egg Whites and Straw, and we're we don't even know who the fuck you are.
You already made a main name for yourself already. That's dope.
I
Yeah.
was trying to farm my mushrooms. People got in the way. I mean, what was I supposed to do?
And we had a whole battle for the Cove. There's a guild called Dark Legion that we ended up chasing out and became I think a 600 person guild eventually. Wow. We fought them, and we because there were so many more of them than us, you couldn't no matter what level you were, if 10 people jumped you were dead. You were just straight fucking dead. So we had to do all these guerrilla tactics, hiding on top of houses and jumping down and stabbing people and then running away. It got real intense. So that was a fun time. And then there was also the Church of Ardent Jesus that was established around that time as well. Now, in the ghetto, of course, we had some very rich people who spent thousands of dollars, and they just bought a house, put church pews all around the place, and they had like an altar and everything. And in this game, you would kind of roll your chance to enchant your weapon, and sometimes if like expensive weapons that you work really hard to get would just explode and disappear very often, like 80 to 90% of the time. And so people would go to this church and they'd be like, pray to / pray, and the character would bend over, pray, and then they would, as that happened, like they would try to do the enchantment, and then you get the server-wide message, oh, this person's enchanted to epic, and everyone would go monkey and go full ape and just start killing each other. The entire place is covered. Or like there'd be times, one person would be like, enchanting their weapon and it blows up, and they're like, I'm mad, and they pull out their main weapon and start killing everyone, and then another battle ensues. It was just fucking madness.
Wow.
Like that game was fun.
That's a pretty epic memory.
There's no games I've ever experienced where, like, I've been jumping. Like we were at this event called Kraken with giant world boss in the middle, and we all like got expensive ships, that cost a lot of money to set up, and we sailed them into there. And there's like 50 guilds, about like a couple hundred people, and then tornadoes would knock the ships up in the air. I've never had a game where I jumped from ship to ship murdering people because I specifically wanted one guy dead who talked shit to me at like one random moment when I was doing some auction house shit, and I was like, you're fucking dead, and I literally hunted that motherfucker down and killed him there. And I showed him, days. Like, this guy couldn't play the game because of me, and he eventually like paid me, I think, or something. He paid our guild some money so I would leave him alone.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The experience of that was so fun. And then other times it was just like me and Derek playing like survival games, like The Forest. Like I mentioned, our first night we decided to go in blind. We were just sitting there. We're like, oh, this is kind of cool game. Like, it's like Minecraft. We're building stuff. And then we see the cannibals. We're like freaking out. It's dark. We try to get a fire going, but it's raining, and we're all panicking as we're trying to like, get this fire going. And then, of course, I ate some foot. I ate some legs. I ate some arms. Derek here was like, I won't eat meat. Yeah. It just, this shit happens, And the chaos involved in that was a very fond memory. But other than that, like, the only time I've ever been like astounded by a game's like story was probably COD 4. The ending of that was it definitely hit different,
Built different. Yeah, no. Arcade is definitely. I mean, Kevin Bad Race covered a lot of the highlights there, but definitely probably one of my golden ages of gaming. It was such a perfect storm of just right things going like right, of just weird hijinks and the game mechanics. I know he explained how like in that game, killing other characters, you get no loot, you get no gold, you get no experience. You get nothing from it. There's no advantage, nothing to gain by killing someone. You have everything to lose, because in that game they had a like virtual crime and punishment system where if people reported your crimes enough times, you'd literally have to go to jail and sit in a jail cell for real world time. It would, you would see some people like go to like jail for like a 20, 30 minutes or so, and you gotta sit in this jail and you can't do anything. You have to sit there.
That's only if you get killed by a player too.
Was it like you couldn't be out of the game and come back?
No, you couldn't leave. You had to be in
leave
the game. You had to spend game time. So people would like AFK and watch shows or whatever, right? But you had to spend in-game time in jail.
And to get
nothing
to there,
to gain from killing anybody. But you did it anyway to send a message. You had to just be like, you know what? Fuck this guy in particular. And this made it so much better to get killed, because you knew that the guy who went and killed you got nothing for it. He just wanted to kill you specifically. So yeah, lots of
the jury system too.
Wow.
Lots of just stupid guild wars and like disputes over territory that amounted to just a bunch of people killing each other and then going to jail afterwards. It was wild.
Don't forget about the jury system where people would try to bribe the jury in front of the entire server.
After you got sent to trial, there would be a real jury of in-game players that would then decide your fate, and you would try to like beg them and be like, "Yo, I was," and then they would see what crimes you like did. You'd be like, "Oh, so and so killed so and so," and if you killed someone that they didn't like, they're like, "Dude, this guy's innocent. Let him." It was so petty and personal on so many levels, so many times. Everything was sending a message. Or just like, You know, like, oh, you killed one of my friends. I don't care what they did. You're going to jail. You know, you killed someone from some rival guild. You're innocent. Get this guy out of here. It was awesome. It was wild.
Can they like dish out a punishment too?
Yeah.
You can pick the worst punishment, but
Yeah.
one thing you should note is that you couldn't be on the jury unless you were an outstanding citizen.
Yeah, you had to have no criminal record.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
for at least a month.
Yeah, so people who
That's
who,
commitment.
who didn't kill other people would be on would have like jury duty or whatever. But, so I mean, there was a small pool of people who did that. 'Cause, I mean, everybody fucking loved killing everyone else. It was like always like fucking healers and farmers on the jury.
Yeah, the people who only did farming.
You were
And if you
getting
look at the
fucking,
ghetto, you
random
weren't there.
assassins on like the jury being like, "Oh, nice kill, you're free." None of that. But yeah, man, Arcade was a wild ride. There was lots of times where like I would kill someone and then later we would be friends. It was definitely a wild time. I'm not sure what the game is like now.
I still talk to King of the Jungle.
There you go. See, look at that. Bad Rice still has connections to this day from people that I met in that game. Just because
That's
it
pretty
just
awesome.
stood the test of time. I mean, I sunk countless hours into it night after night.
Wasn't it like
Stupid
in
adventures.
2012, 2014 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was long ago.
Yeah.
And we still have, I think, our two buddies that we queued with, or became a guild with, they are still playing it right now as we speak.
Oh,
There you go. So I mean, it must still have something going for it because people are still playing it. So I mean, if you're looking for a fun MMO, maybe it's still good. Check it out, Arcade. It's got a pretty robust class system. It's got it's got a lot of kind of like sim elements to it, where if you want to have a like house and like a farm, you have to have like real world real estate that there's only so much of. You know, it's not like your own kind of secret instance. There are zones in the real world game where it's like, this is where you can put a house down. And so your house is like there on display all the time.
wow.
Oh, yeah.
See,
You should probably
there.
mention also the class system. There was 10 different classes. You had to pick 3 of them, and a combination of 3 of them would make a specific class. So there was 10 choose 3 options. So that led to about
What's the
160
permutation?
different classes.
Yeah, there you go. 160
Oh,
different
man.
class combinations.
It was a lot, and there'd be people with like the meta classes that'd be playing, but then you have these like non-meta players. I think Offbeat Heroes that for a bit. I was one of those for a bit,
Yeah.
and we would destroy people because you wouldn't know what our class did. But you could make your own. You can make your own like kind of footing in that game, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's
you
pretty
You
cool.
could have like you out of your 3 skill trees, you could be like healer, rogue, archer. You're like, what the fuck kind of class is this? I'm shooting from a range, but I've also got like stealth and assassination moves, but also got like fucking a like healing kit.
You were a stoner at one point. You were an archer, a mobile archer that was also tanky.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna pick the shield class, I'm gonna pick the bow and arrow class, and I'm gonna pick the stealth class. And you're like, how the fuck does this combine together? How do you even wield a shield while you've got a bow and arrow in like the other hand? But I mean, sometimes it works. It's the game was fun back then. Hopefully it's still fun now. But
Excuse me.
Bless you.
definitely a very fond golden age moment for me. But I'm gonna rewind for myself back to 2002.
Jeez, even more.
2002. I
Okay.
was probably 10 or 11 at this point.
Oh, that's old.
You're so
Yeah,
old.
man.
You're
That's
so
old,
old.
dude.
You're old, yeah.
But when I was that young, sometimes me and my dad, we would have boys' night, like father-son game night.
Nice.
My mom and my sister would go out and do whatever they were doing, but it would be just us in the house. We'd like make some pizza, have like some fries and some cheese sticks, and just a bunch of just junk food, like pizza pops, have cake and cookies and soda, all that jazz. But I remember one specific night where we went down to Blockbuster. Remember Blockbuster, guys?
Yes.
Blockbuster. Going down, renting a game. We rented Lord of the Rings: Return of the King for GameCube.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys have played that game. Back then, it felt like a fucking masterpiece. Me and my dad. It was a like co-op game where through each area you would play like various characters depending on what part of the story you're in, right? Like if you're in Helm's Deep, you'd be playing as like Legolas and Gimli and Gandalf, and if you're in like Mordor, then you play as like Sam and Frodo and whatnot. And we must have jammed that game like all night, like easily past midnight. And of course, like that was a treat for me, being like 10, 11. But and like at that age, I wasn't very good at games, and my dad has played a fair number of games. He normally gravitates towards like sports games or like shooters, right? Like NHL insert year here, or like Battlefield, whatever number they're on now. But it was just such a like fond moment. We were just like sitting in the dark, playing on the GameCube, playing Lord of the Rings. Oh, it was just such a precious moment.
As a side note, next time your dad's in town, could you just ask him if I could have a night where we get junk food and just play a co-op game? Because that sounds awesome.
It was
you're gonna have
super
to get
fun.
in line, dude. The man is so popular. He's actually like everyone knows he's badass. Like that's like a common, well-known thing. If you've met him, everyone knows he's a straight up badass.
Everyone has to take numbers to meet up with him.
It's true. His dad is pretty cool.
That's
I
awesome.
I could go on and on about the cool shit that my dad has done over the years, but I will leave it at that tidbit. Maybe we'll have a podcast episode talking about dads. I don't know. Maybe it's something we'll maybe toss around. But another very fond moment. It's interesting that like I'm finding a lot of our fond moments tend to revolve less around the games and more around the people that we're playing them with.
That's true.
Right, a lot of us are like, it's a lot of these stories aren't like, hey, I had super fun playing Zelda in my basement by myself alone, right? A lot of it is like sharing experiences with others. And for a brief moment, I mean, if it was probably longer then, it feels brief now, but Bad Rice had attended a local university in my town, and among him and his classmates, he set up a local League of Legends like tournament series league.
What?
Yeah, the
oh my god, that's right.
right,
Wow.
the throwback where did we have four teams? Was it, or was it 3?
We originally had 4 teams.
4.
Yeah, and then it grew into 6, I think.
No, it grew into 8 teams.
8
Jesus.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
yeah, so we went to like 8 teams. We would have a like playoff season where we just kind of do round robin each other, get points and stuff. All had our like assigned roles.
Yep.
We had tournament brackets where we fought for championships and awards and like MVP awards, and I mean each team had like secret spreadsheets about the other teams. And
Not
like, who
us.
was strong.
No.
Who was weak. Not you guys.
No, not us. I was one of the captains on the team,
There you
and
go.
like the funny thing is, so to give you a little bit of background, I was a captain, and 2 other people on the same year as me were captains too. So we were
These
picking.
Zoomers are diamond.
Yeah, so we were picking teams before class, and we like Kevin just sent us names. Like we had no idea who any of these people were, right? Like we just sent us names, and we were like, "Yeah, I'll pick this one." I don't fucking know. Like they're probably the same skill level, anyways, right? And so I get to my team, and I'm like, "Hey guys, we're a team. It's like, do you guys sort of like do practice or like keep strats?" And they're like, "No, not really." And I'm like, "Perfect." It's just like fantastic. It's like we'll go in blind.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, then I guess you guys were the one exception. You're kind of if I remember correctly, your team was kind of the ragtag,
Yeah, it
just
was.
like Guardians of the Galaxy.
You were Team Chaos.
The
We
fucking
never knew what would happen.
the fucking tournament. Yeah, it was just like, everyone else is like doing like scrims. We're like queuing together to practice and get used to each other's play styles and stuff. You guys are just like show up on game night, load up your champs, and hope for the best. And you did very well, if I remember. You did this each and so as I mentioned before, I think I was on a team with Bad Rice.
Yep.
And
All our teams too were also computer science themed as well because it was the computer science league. So we had the programmers, which was Churro's team here. Our team was Team Infinite Array. We had the debuggers, and we also had Team Syntax area, I think.
Wow, these names are bringing me back. Holy,
right?
Blast of deja vu. But so I on our team as well as some other teams, because I mean, it was a pretty casual league, and so there would be nights where maybe one team member on a certain team couldn't make it, so they would have someone from like some other team sub in. So I subbed on a couple teams, and yeah, each team had like spreadsheets of like each team, who their players were, what roles they were, and like their strengths and weaknesses.
Damn.
It was wild, It would be like I remember I subbed on a team that had to play against my own team. I can't remember exactly how it worked out that I was able to sub on a team playing against my own team.
It's because you weren't exactly on a team yet at that time, I think.
Okay,
we had
in lieu.
Yeah, we had 5 players, and you were playing as a sub for an extra.
I was on the bench. But I get in there, don't know any of these guys, and they're like, Kay, Offbeat Hero, you've got one job. Just tilt Bad Rice. That's all we need you to do. You can handle everyone else. You just need to tilt Bad Rice. And so I picked a champion that was annoying. I played support. Bad Rice played top lane. I would wander top intentionally. Just like do some very terrible failed ganks, but just enough to just like throw his CS off like a bit and make him wonder if I was going to come back. So I would like go fail a gank, sit in the bush for a bit, and then just walk out again.
No. That wasn't. I was subbing for someone at that time as well.
Okay.
So it was actually against Churro's team, Programmers. You were on Programmers for a bit, and that was the day I was stomping Churro. A silver player stomping a diamond captain.
I was actually never top lane in my squad.
Well, I remember. Oh wait, were you subbing for someone?
Who knows? There would have been some wild
Maybe,
stuff
who
going
knows?
on.
Yeah, I remember just destroying your Olaf with Volibear because I saw it on ball counters.
just pick the counter pick.
Pretty much, that's all I did, and it worked.
But and then we really did put our all into it. I feel like a lot of people were like very into this LCS that we had manufactured.
Nice.
We had shoutcasters. I would have betters come over to my like.
That's actually the first time I ever talked to Derek. It was shoutcasting a game together.
Yeah, it was where me and you met. We met through this like league thing.
Exactly.
So you guys basically made a full production value out of this. And everything else.
We really went the extra mile.
Wow.
We had some pretty good production value.
We would learn each player's names and kind of what their like hype things are. Being like, oh, like dude, so and so's going for that thing. He always does. Like, holy shit, it's Gary.
I was my name back then was Clash MD. I remember, dude.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh man, that's a throwback.
Sam was in there, I think, as well. Definitely not Sam.
Yeah.
But I remember just like that. That's a fond memory to me, which like seems weird because like a lot of people associate League with like frustration and like grinding and just like the slog that is like the ranked ladder. But in terms of playing League in-house with your friends in like a localized tournament is probably the most fun I've had in that game ever.
I think it all comes back to what you said, and with the comment here that Kate actually, Offbeat Hero's fiance here, she and I met before we really like knew each other through a Hearthstone Fireside. And yes, I was also Clash then.
Yeah.
Churro's
Yeah,
been
you
more of
knew
a
my
recent
fiance before
development.
I knew her.
Yeah, exactly. And that's crazy to me. And I think it all comes down to the whole like the social aspect is, all of these memories and all of like, whenever we have like just nothing but good things to say about a game. It's not typically because we it's not like we don't like the game, but the game, has sometimes very little to do with it. It's more about the company you spend together, right? Because I don't play King of Fighters anymore, but I still remember having fun with my friends. I don't play, well, I actually do play RuneScape still. But you know what I mean, though. Like I don't have the same friends that I did back then, but that doesn't make back then any less special. Because there were friends in my life at the time that I got to share the game with, and we had really cool stuff. Like I remember I was part of a RuneScape guild, and every Sunday we'd throw like a party in a player-owned house.
Oh wow.
And we just chill and talked, and it just like coming to a country where you like quite literally didn't know anybody and couldn't speak the language. Like RuneScape for me was a way to share that. Weirdly enough, I don't know how to explain it, but it's all about that social aspect. If Hearthstone Firesides are I stopped liking Hearthstone a while ago, but I keep going to the Firesides not because of Hearthstone, but because the people there were such a big part of my life, and a big part of why I got into card games in the first place, right? Like it's why I got into Magic, and it's why I got Upfit Hero here, or Finest Magic Streamer into Magic as well.
Yeah.
So it's all about the social. It's all about sharing it with friends and experiencing it together. I've been playing Dragon Ball Fighters for a couple months now, and I have done my share of ranked.
Are you coming back?
But it's not ranked is not as fun as when I'm playing with a friend. It just isn't. Plain and simple. I love the game, but I love it more when I share it with friends.
It's
That's
true.
so nice. I think that's a great note to end on this little segment of I mean, a lot of these game memories, it's less about the game and more about who you're playing with. So I mean, get out there, keep in touch with people. I mean, now than ever, play some online games. There's a lot of fun options out there. But as nice as and wholesome as this is, we're running short on time, so we're gonna move on to our last topic here, and it's gonna be without the good, you can't have the bad. So let's go into some bad beats.
Oh, let's go.
What are some bad beat memories from back in the day where, I mean, comes from video games and you're like, God damn it, why did I even start playing in the first place? Bad Rice. I feel like you must have a lot of bad beats.
Oh my gosh.
I'm being honest.
I've had a lot of terrible times. That's only because I do play a lot of video games, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, I think one of the worst times I've ever had was I played. If you ever heard of Rust, it was the first time I played Rust. I got myself a nice little shack, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing great." And someone would come on the server. I'd go and help them, and I was kind of surviving on my own in this one of the map, and it was really cool because no one knew it. But we got to this point where essentially someone one day showed up in the server and was like, "Hey, is anyone here?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, do you need some help?" And he instantly teleports to me, invincible, shoots me in the face, blows up my shack with unlimited C4, and just hacks his way to victory and takes all my stuff and leaves. And I'm like, "Why did you do that? Why did you need to do that? That just ruined the game for me." I started a new server, and what do you know? Hacks started going around, people started doing stuff like this. I was like, holy shit, fuck this. And hackers, they just tend to ruin the game for people. And after that, I've never been into Rust. I always look at the game and I'm just like, Rust, that hacker game, that shit, I don't want to play it. And then other than that, as Offbeat Hero had said before, some of the worst times are also just, trying to play League of Legends. I
Oh
remember
man.
Fucking League of Legends.
I would come
All
home
those
from
good
work
talk
working
about
at
League of Legends.
HS or ATV or whatever, and I was like, I'm gonna play like one or two games because those I could only play one or two games before I had to go and code or like head to bed. These kind of mattered, and people would constantly troll. It'd be like, you're playing, and one dude's just like, I don't like the way your name is. I'm gonna ruin your
Wow.
day, and so they would go to town and ruin your day, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I have to deal with this. And I remember just dropping from gold to silver one time, and I was like, I looked at my games, and I had something like I had a crazy scoreline as an ADC. I was like something like 24 and like 10, like in like 8 games in a row, and like 8 games of those were just losses. And I just like thought to myself, I'm like, all right, this game isn't for me. I clearly can't carry. Like that Jorge guy got with it, like diamond, like fuck this shit. And so that happened, and then another time that happened when I was actually playing Valorant. I didn't realize I had like a fuck ton of Google Chrome tabs open. And let me tell you about Google Chrome tabs. If you have those open when you're playing Valorant, you're gonna have a bad time because your aim's gonna be a little worse. So I was playing, and I dropped from like gold to silver, and I was just thinking, like, oh god, am I just being carried by Sam? Like, what's happening? Am I trash? And then I realized as I hit silver 2 that I had tabs open, and I didn't think about it back then. But looking back on it, like I was like, oh wow, I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh
So
man.
losing rank, demoting when you didn't deserve to demote, stuff like that. Like it feels bad. Just feels bad.
Yeah, what do you think, Churro?
I've never had a bad experience with gaming. I'm a god at everything I do.
Got him.
Just like that.
I honestly can't. I don't like. Honest to God, I'm sure there's been times where I am fucking pissed off at some games, and like most of them have to do with Valorant or League of Legends, but I scrub them off, man. Like if I have a bad time, I'm not playing any. Like those people that just like, yeah, I had a bad game and then I played 20 more. Like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
I have a
hold
bad
on.
game. I get off. And I just like chill and watch like YouTube and just like forget about everything else.
I saw you slam a table in the computer lab one time. You were playing Hearthstone.
Whoa.
You not like slam it, but you like brought your fist down because someone pulled some bullshit move on you. You turned off Hearthstone, and then you played it again like literally an hour when I came back to the lab.
Yeah, exactly. I gave myself an hour to mentally reset. I don't remember that, but you always take a break. I always take a break after a bad game, like especially if it's especially bad, then just give myself some time, and I just usually forget about the bad stuff.
Right. Ray. I mean, I can only assume that maybe your bad beat is from a fighting game, but let's hear what you got.
Mine is actually not a fighting game, which is surprising.
Ooh, let's go.
I was actually playing Fatal Frame 2 with friends, and what happened was that while I was actually, I thought I could be like, try and be cool and be like, yeah, I can go play this game. So I started playing it for a good like 5-10 minutes, and it's a horror game. It's when you take pictures of like ghosts and whatnot, and while they're trying to attack you and everything. So while I was actually playing it, it actually scared the heck out of me, and I died. And like it shook me so bad that I'm like I started turning it off, and my friends are like, how come you're not gonna play it anymore? Because they were enjoying it because they're just watching, and I'm like, I can't go and like play anymore, man. I'm like so scared of this game. So yeah, that was the worst time for me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've all felt that a little bit. Definitely like not alone there when things just like work out that way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But moving on to Kazo. I mean, aside from Churro not playing DBFZ with you anymore, what's your bad beats?
Oh shoot! I like that segue then. So I was playing Resident Evil 4 on the PS2, right?
Ooh.
Going through the process, pretty much going through each story mode and everything else. So, and I mean, like, just pretty much getting myself immersed to the storyline. And lo and behold, when I popped the game back in and to open up my load, it usually it would just the screen would just sort of show up, Capcom and stuff, just when the game starts. Unfortunately, it didn't do that, but it went back to the main screen of the PS2. So I did a little, I was like detective work. So I looked back at the memory stick into itself. I found out my memory stick, of that was corrupted. The memory card, yeah.
Oh.
And my save file was corrupted. So
Wow, that just makes me feel bad immediately.
Get some F in the chat.
Get some F.
So 4 hours worth.
Big F on this one.
4 hours worth. It was completely wasted. I don't know, maybe because well, I think I would have to give it in the fact that for me, when the memory stick itself was actually third party, not official. So maybe that's one of the reasons. And not only that, it was Mad Cat's memory card.
Fucking Mad Cats.
So the memory card itself, yeah, Mad Cat's, remember, the fact that they always made the worst controllers, made the worst memory sticks, but for some reason managed to make it work for fight sticks. So I don't know, something they did right, but it was pretty bad. Never looked back, but I mean, I actually went up and bought an actual official memory stick or memory card itself, and pretty much finished where I left off at. But I mean, those hours that you spend, you never get those back. That's unfortunate.
That's true. This is true.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a bad beat. I think myself and a lot of people here have had where whether it's your save file getting corrupted or even just those games that are merciless with their save feature where you play a few hours and you just forget to save and then you die randomly and you're like,
oh dude, I fucking hated that.
There goes 2-3 hours of my life that gotta do all over again, and you gotta take a break for a week because you're well, I don't want to do 3 hours of shit that I just did.
Man, I don't have the patience for that anymore.
Yeah, I don't think a game has done that to me and made me drop it completely. But definitely many games where I have had to put on hold for a bit and be fuck, okay, I guess I gotta step back and I'll come back and redo this when I have the patience to play the same shit for another 3 hours. But aside from that, yeah, I mean, I play a lot of single player games, and I mean that is partially because I feel like the multiplayer element, while very fun as we've shared with our good time memories, it's also a source of just some bad beats, some frustration, some just terrible times where you have a random especially games where you have to work as a team with random people. And those people they're just committed to being nah, I'm not having a good day, so nobody else does.
Yeah.
It just sucks. I mean, also, I mean, it's also not fun playing a game online where some dude just whoops your ass and you just have no chance at all. You can't turn to them and be wow, dude, what that was crazy. There's a faceless person to void and they start teabagging you. You're just dude, I hate that shit. So definitely, I feel while multiplayer is a thin line for me, there's a lot of bad beats I get from online multiplayer games and a lot of good beats that I get.
Yeah.
But that's it for me. I think we're gonna wrap up here.
I need to call you out real quick here. I need to call you out. Are you telling me you didn't have a bad time when you were making that horrible black deck and when you first started out?
I honestly, okay, he's talking about in Magic. When I first started playing Magic, I made a budget modern deck.
This man was devoted to black.
Yeah, it was a bit of it. Modern's a bit of it's a hyper efficient, bit of a ruthless format.
It is.
But honestly, there were games I didn't have fun. There were games that I did have fun. I mean, the ones I didn't have fun in, I did. I mean, it's why I play taxes now, because it's like, bitch,
It's true.
you have to play with me now. You can't avoid it. You gotta
Yeah,
remember
like
to
if
do
you're
it.
not having fun, neither will they, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have said that Magic, and I think a lot of other games, are a zero-sum fun game
Wow.
where there's only so much fun to go around, and I'm gonna have all of it. But no, I think it's best. I mean, when everyone's having fun, no one likes getting
Of course.
trounced, and then I mean, in my eyes, it feels like both the person doing the trouncing, the person getting trounced, isn't very fun. You know, if I was to pick up DBFC right now and play against Kaza, I'm sure it would be fun for like both of us, for him to just like whoop my ass into the ground. Where I'm like, oh, how do I auto combo?
Oh, don't worry. He'll
He has a good
tell
time.
you. He will tell you how to do things as he's beating your ass.
Oh, even
Yeah.
better.
Himself. Like sometimes he'll be like, "Yo, check it out. I'm not looking at the monitor. You're losing."
I got my eyes closed, dude. What happened? I'm asleep.
Sometimes you'll hear.
Jeez.
Oh, all right, Kaza, take it away.
I didn't realize like playing games me is like going through a full advanced tutorial right there, man. But for basically, thank you guys for tuning in to our podcast. Though for those who have missed out on today's episode, though, I'll be putting it on YouTube pretty much shortly afterwards, so you guys can catch it. Thank you to Ray Ichi, Bad Rice, Thicc Churro, and Offbeat Hero, my brothers in arms, pretty much for taking their time out of their busy schedule just to join this podcast. So, and also appreciate the value of you guys' like contributions, and I hope that we can make more episodes in the future. Yeah, boy.
Classic.
As well to our viewers watching, though, thank you guys for your support. Please be sure to follow our Discord and look out for more announcements. And as we strive to continue more awesome segments, so stay tuned for more amazing episodes. So if you want to check out for more information regarding like F Tier podcast, and especially with Ichi Gaming, my name's Kazo. You can find me at Ichi Gaming overall in the Discord, YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitch, and Ichi Gaming 1 on Twitter. And passing the torch on, Ray Ichi, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch at the Reichi1 once I finally actually get to learn how to use OBS Studio.
I got you.
But aside from that, you know, you can find me in the Ichi Gaming server on Discord. Just I hang around there quite a bit, and yeah, if you want to message me on Discord, Reichi1 #9866, just give me a shout. We can definitely talk for some DBFC fun.
There you go. And Bad Rice, where can we find you if we can still find a way to find you?
Well, that's a good question, Kazo. You can find me at nowhere.
Hashtag, all right.
Don't bother. Don't just.
You know,
I don't exist.
sometimes it's like, you know, at one point you'll give us a hint and the viewers will find a way, man.
The online presence is not needed for me.
All right. Well, continue on though. Thicc Churro, where can we find you, sir?
You guys can find me at twitch.tv/Thicc_Churro, streaming sporadically.
Well said. And last but not least, Offbeat Hero, where can we find you, sir?
Yeah, you can find me on twitch.tv/offbeat_hero. You also find me on the same tag on Twitter and the same tag on YouTube, as well as the same tag on Discord. And I hope you guys have a great night. Love to have you here. I think that hope you know, us as a podcast community can create some of those great gaming moments we were talking about earlier. And maybe you know, 5-10 years from now, we'll be looking back at one of these time spending with you guys in chat and also each other on the podcast.
Awesome. And if you guys want to provide any more suggestions for us to talk about for future episodes, just be sure to put it out on the Discord or even on anywhere else, especially on Twitch Twitch and Twitter into itself, though, under Ichi Gaming. So that being said, though, thank you guys for joining in. And remember, you got nothing to fear when you're at the bottom, because you got, well, there's no fear in F tier.
Hey.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you for
Bye.
watching.